my bosses on the board of directors. But what I thought I'd concentrate most on tonight is to talk about what these two brothers did for our industry. When you think about general aviation, and you think about those two brothers that really started powered flight a little over a century ago, they were innovators that spurred a tremendous amount of activity. You think about the number of companies that were out there in the 20s and 30s trying to be able to push the industry forward. But then think about the last 25 years. I challenge you to think about a startup company that has been able to get through all the challenges that the FAA puts in front of it to be able to get an airplane certified. And for those of you that have been in the business before, you know that the type certificate's not the biggest challenge, it's the production certificate. In the last quarter century, a lot of companies have tried, but there's only one that made it. And they didn't make it the easy way. When you look at what Alan and Dale brought to this industry, they said, we're not going to do aluminum, we're going to do composites. Now think about the 1990s. The SR-20 was certified in 1998. We didn't know much about composites then. We didn't know how to lay it up in a production form and actually test it. We did not know what would happen with this intense process to be able to make sure each and every copy of that aircraft was precise. But it didn't stop there. Composites was just the beginning. Alan had a mid-air collision in 1985, and he said, you know what? We're going to put a chute on this aircraft. We're going to make sure that if something catastrophic happens, that people can go down safe. And I'm very proud of the fact that as we sit here tonight, there have been 46 Cirrus saves and 95 lives saved by coming down in the chute. That's a tremendous accomplishment. But it didn't stop there. Dale said, you know, somebody sitting in the back seat of the aircraft, they need to know where they are. They need to have a display right in front of them. And both Alan and Dale said, what does the customer want out there? At that time, we were all working on desktops. We had a computer screen in front of us. So they said, let's give it to them, but let's give it to them in color. Let's give a screen on the MFD that the folks in the back seat can know where they are. But let's have a moving map so they know where their position is. We don't have to do the mental gymnastics of always knowing where our position is in the weather and at night. And oh, by the way, let's pump in weather so people actually can go and avoid thunderstorms and save more lives. But actually the biggest accomplishment by putting in this glass panel technology is absolutely reducing by over 50% the number of accidents we had of controlled flight into terrain. We can't count those numbers of bodies that have been saved because Cirrus started that revolution, that glass panel revolution that allowed our terrain awareness to be so prominent that right now the industry has passed over that area to be able to focus hard on improvement because it has been reduced so dramatically, and we go on to other things that we want to attack and challenges. And Cirrus, through the leadership of Dale and Alan, has been able to pioneer each and every one of those. Loss of control is the biggest our biggest accident driver. What did they do? They instituted envelope protection so that the autopilot can actually go and do some things and kick back and push back on a pilot if he has an excessive bank angle. They've introduced synthetic vision, and I proudly fly a Cirrus quite often. And I'll tell you, flying an instrument approach, for those of you that haven't done it before, what these guys brought to the industry, you just put the velocity vector on the end of the runway, you forget about ever deviating off of course when you're flying an ILS. It's that good. And being a former military aviator, the guys that I know that are flying F-22 Raptors and F-35 still don't have the same type of advanced technology that we have in those aircraft today. These two innovators revolutionized this industry. And all along the way, they have these tremendous wives being partners with them, Sarah and Patty, all throughout this journey, taking care of the kids, a mom and dad that's supportive, letting these two guys fly and land in their front yard and start up a company, reviewing a business plan, and all of a sudden letting them start in Baraboo. And Baraboo, Wisconsin, to this day regrets the day that they kicked them out of there and said, no, you guys are causing too much traffic at our local airport. Get out of here. And look what they created. Do you know that in 1999, that first year after they got their production certificate on the SR-20, they produced 9 aircraft. In 2006, 7 years later, 721 aircraft. That is truly phenomenal. And as each and every new development that goes into the Cirrus marched along, they were ready for the next thing. Together, they said, we have a vision to be able to produce a single-engine jet. Let's go and give the customer the reliability of turbine technology in a very affordable and fuel-efficient manner. And today, Dale and Cirrus continue on that path. At the same time, Dale has been very active with NASA and leading the General Aviation Engineering team, as Alan has gone off and pursued an interest in another very important part of the market in turboprops, where there's a sweet spot where size and speed matters. So both of these gentlemen continue to innovate to this day. And it's just a pleasure for me to be able to recognize two brothers that in the greatest of the aviation traditions, the Wright brothers, just follow in their footsteps and continue. And I know they'll do that till the day they have to hang up those spurs and turn in that certificate. So let's roll the film and learn a little bit more about Dale and Alan.
Nick Clooney presents our biography of Alan and Dale Klapmeier.
We eagerly note words of